go? We can go. I always screw this up because every show is different. Welcome to Before Floor, an extension of 5 on the Floor here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, sponsored by our friends over at Biscayne Bay Brewing. Make sure you ask for it by name, whether you're at a restaurant or you're at a convenience store or you're at a Whole Foods or you're at a Publix. There it is, BiscayneBayBrewing.com. It's also at the arena now. They got a little stand right outside of 123, which is where I sit these days. By the Scouts table. Also, you can find it at Marlins Park or Home Depot Stadium, Lone Depot Stadium, whatever it is that they want us to call it. Check out Biscayne Bay Brewing, the official beer of the Marlins. Also, like I said, they're down there with the Heat, and they're the official beer of us at 5 Reasons Sports. Also sponsored by our friend Lynette. Find her at A Aggressive Insurance, insurancebylynette.com. There she is, 954-581-8800, 954-581-8800. 8800, the insurance agency that works for you, including, well, life insurance, whatever it is you need, but especially if you got a bad driving record. Go to her. If I don't get a damn tag on my car, I got pulled over today, guys, by a very nice police officer, thankfully, because my registration said 20. It's supposed to say 22 at this stage. So I'm literally a year plus behind. I just completely forgot. I don't know where it is. Exactly. But dude was nice. Like, no, he didn't look like that. All right. Anyway.
Wonder White.
Exactly. That's right. Precisely. All right. Let's get to it. Okay. Enough. Maddie. Thank you. Or Alejandro. I think it's Maddie because Alejandro doesn't use that stuff. All right. Let's get to it. Heat Hawks tonight. No Trae Young, right? They're further shorthanded. Let's just go through who's available and who's not, Brady. This is our nightly exercise.
Yeah, so everybody for the Heat is available, except obviously Victor Oladipo. And for the Hawks, no Trae Young, no Clint Capella, no Tony Snell, and then, Gallinari is a game-time decision. So obviously they're a little banged up, and this is a game Miami, is going to have to get.
And which means it's a game Miami's going to struggle with because we know how this goes. So let's get to it, Greg. Who do you identify as random scrub Heat killer tonight?
Great question. As I look around, Lou Williams is never fun. This could be a 25 point.
No, you can't. He's won 6 Man of the Year awards. You can't.
Yeah, no. So I mean,
and he's close to those wings at the strip club in Atlanta now. So no.
I guess if you had to go someone, it would be Brandon Goodwin. That would be my bet.
I don't even know who that is. So
perfect. See, that's exactly what I mean. And it doesn't mean it doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means that nobody's heard of him. So that'll be the guy that they talk about tonight.
So if you can get to Prize Picks right now, prizepicks.com. Herder might be a good one. Although I don't know if you could be a random scrub Heat killer when Dwayne exchanged jerseys with you, right? Like Dwayne did that with Kevin Herder. So I don't know that you could do that. I'm not really sure. All right, make sure you go to there you go. Prizepicks.com. Use the promo code 5. I'm on a little bit of a bad
He's only at a 22 fantasy score, combined everything, and he's going to play a lot tonight, Brandon Goodwin. So take the over.
Take the over on Brandon Goodwin. All right, so check that out at prizepicks.com. Make sure you get there. All right, let's get to the importance of this. Obviously, look, the Heat are in a mess right now. I mean, they're playing better, but so is pretty much every team they're competing with, right? So we're starting to see now that some of these teams have picked it up a little bit because they can see the playoffs in sight. And the Knicks are throwing parades as we anticipated because they've won 8 straight, but we can't mock them anymore, right? I mean, Randall's giving them like 40, 15, and 5 on a consistent basis. Like, it seems to be relative. And their 2 bench guards are exactly what you want Dragic and Hero to be. I mean, right now I think you would take Rosen quickly. And RJ Barrett's improved, and some of their other starters are middling, but they're buying in defensively. They're good, right?
Yeah, definitely. But the one thing, if you're comparing it to Miami, is that Miami's actually played them really good this year.
Yeah.
Just on an individual matchup, and as Greg was mentioning before we even started this thing up, the Knicks have an interesting schedule heading up, a pretty hard schedule. They're going to have to roll through some of those teams, while Miami, on the other hand, has a pretty easy schedule, which I don't know, as you mentioned before, if it's a good thing. Because those type of games are usually their toughest, but they have Chicago twice after this one.
Yeah.
So they got some winnable games. Obviously, they're without Zach LaVine. So that's what's going to be interesting. And if Miami could just keep plugging away to end this season with an easier schedule heading up, I think that's the only thing they can do.
Remember, no Zach LaVine, but they do have Vucevic. So
right.
That's always.
Ethan, have you seen what the Knicks are going to have to go through to close the season?
No, I know.
At Denver, at Phoenix, at the Clippers, at Lakers,
they
then
haven't
at
gone
home
west.
San Antonio, Charlotte, Boston. That's how they close.
Right, and the Lakers probably be healthy completely by that
Correct.
point. So yeah, no, it's brutal. So they should enjoy it now. But even with that being said, what happens is teams build momentum because they start to believe in themselves. We've seen that with the Knicks. To me, Thibodeau. I mean, it's an interesting question actually. Who's the coach of the year? Is it Tibbs?
It's a strong case.
Is it maybe Monty Williams? Maybe in Phoenix. I mean, I feel like I like Monty, but I feel like Chris Paul's coaching that team.
I feel like the Tibbs effect, just because we all know that New York is like a complete disaster dumpster fire. And for a coach to come in of his pedigree and then all of a sudden, bam, they are a good defensive team and they're high, in a playoff race. It's Tibbs. I feel like the CP3 factor in Phoenix is just too strong.
I'm with you. I'm trying to think who else would even be considered. Snyder. I mean, Quinn Snyder's done a very nice
Quinn
job.
Snyder.
But I think again with Quinn Snyder, he's kind of in the Spoelstra camp now, where I think to a certain degree it's expected, right? Like it's just he's a quality coach, and they're going to be in variance of wins every year depending on how many healthy players they have.
I just feel like the NBA Coach of the Year is basically like the first seed award. So like giving a Tibbs team, that's right in the middle of the pack of the East, just doesn't seem.
I don't know. Sometimes it's a first seed. Well, that would be crazy. Here's the thing about it, though. It's a first seed. I think more often than not, rather than a first seed award, it's been we didn't project the team properly award.
Correct.
Right? Like that's a lot what it is. And I don't know with the Knicks if they weren't projected. I don't think anybody could have prognosticated with this with the Knicks. I mean, to project the Julius Randle leap, quickly stepping in as a rookie playing, they didn't have Rose at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, really, what were you projecting? R.J. Barrett and Alec Burks? Like, it's tough. But so I do think that it's legitimate with Tibbs. But a lot of times it is the guy. I mean, there was a year Spoelstra to have won it. This is the biggest thing. Pat Riley never won it, right? Or he won it once. I remember he threw a hissy fit in L.A. If you get the book, Jeff Pearlman book Showtime, which is absolutely worth a read. Pearlman, friend of mine, he's also a tremendous writer and did great research on the book. But basically, he talks about how Riley literally went nuts about not getting Coach of the Year and then didn't want it the next year. This was in the late 80s. So, I mean, it's not – the greatest coaches don't often get it. Pop probably could have won it 6 times and didn't, just like LeBron could have won MVP. All right, let's get to tonight then. I mean, obviously, we talk random scrub heat killers. But also, to me, what I want to see is first, carry over from Hero. Because I don't want to be that guy, okay? Because I don't want to be pigeonholed as this, but I feel like a little bit too much is being made of that fourth quarter from Tyler the other day, and it's not because I took the Nun side against Hero, but the game was out of reach for most of it, okay? So I'm not saying he hasn't performed when the game's been within reach in previous times, but I want to see him now do that now.
Yeah, no, he has to do it again and again. You're right.
He has to do it again and again. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, guys, I really want to see is I want to see aggressiveness from Bam and Jimmy consistently together. I think we saw that the other night. I want to continue to see that. Those would be my two primary things that I would want to see. I mean, we know Dedmon's giving you a double-double. I mean, it's just a given at this stage. But, those are the two primary things I want to see tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Hero thing because the reason I think it is more important, than maybe you're mentioning is that Hero is a rhythm player. He's a momentum player. That a fourth quarter like that can spark a 3-game stretch where he's just rolling. It's just different than a lot of players. So I feel like that's a confidence booster right there. And as you mentioned, Nunn has had these stretches of, great consistency of scoring. And that's the one part that I think Hero hasn't had. So if he could just build that, that's probably the most important thing tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned him as a momentum player. He's like the GameStop of Heat players. It's like, you look up and GameStop's up 20 points one day and it's down 20 points the next day. And you just don't know. I actually had an agent of a Heat player who's texted me about Hero recently and said, we just don't know what we're going to get. I mean, that's the thing. And I think that's what we're saying. You need to know what you're going to get. For a while with Kendrick Nunn, you knew it was going to be bad. But at least you knew. You knew what you were getting. With Tyler, you go into the game not knowing. We are at the stage, though, with Duncan, where we know, right? We pretty much know he's headed towards another historic season when everybody wanted to trade him 3-4 weeks ago, right? So we know at this stage what we're getting from Duncan.
I mean, I think if from the fan base perspective, if he were to flame out in the playoffs and only shoot 31% in a 5-game series, everyone would scream trade him. So you have to be careful of that. But you're right, like he's rounded into an all around guy that I think the Heat are going to re-up. So like a lot of those question marks I think have been answered. So I don't know. I expect it's funny. Duncan only hit 2 threes last game, and that was a down game for him.
Yeah.
If you look every night, it's 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3. So I'm expecting a bounce back effort from him. And I'm also interested to see how Spo his rotation tonight, because it is the first night of a back-to-back.
Yes.
And I want to see if he goes with that playoff 9 like we talked about, or if he goes a little deeper in anticipation of still playing guys again tomorrow, or if he'll indeed rest guys on that second night.
Dragic is playing tonight, right? I would anticipate maybe Goran sits tomorrow. That would not surprise me.
Another bounce back game, as you were talking about, is Trevor Ariza. I think that was probably Trevor Ariza's worst game he's had, with the Miami Heat. So, obviously when he had, consistently, seeing the ball go in the basket, I think that's another important thing, seeing how he kind of bounces back from that type of game. Because even defensively, as I mentioned, I don't think he had a great defensive game either. And that was kind of surprising as well. So I think that this is why that's kind of important to see how he kind of steps up, even with no Trae Young, because that would have been an important thing to kind of throw him on Trae Young in a game like this. But now they're going to be throwing him on Brandon Goodwin.
We'll see. Brandon Goodwin with the 22 points, fantasy points and prize picks. You want to get this shirt, Jim VP? Make sure you get it on our website. People are stealing the shirt. There you go, Jim VP. You get it at 5reasonsports.com. We got a couple new shirts we think we're actually getting up tonight. Maybe, possibly. We'll see. Also, check out a couple of things here. 2 new shows. We mentioned Feel the Heat. That one's with Michael and Alana. And that's on the YouTube channel. They actually did it as a podcast. We put it on the YouTube channel, and that's kind of behind the scenes stuff, a little lighter type stuff, on culture type stuff on the Heat, which is a word that Greg likes. And then obviously our other new show, which is Full Court Press, which is with Marco and Gad, and also with Ariel. And essentially it's a little more analytical look around the entire NBA, although they do some Heat. We're going to be throwing that on the 5 on the Floor podcast feed over the weekend. Also, Greg and I and Alex, we're going to get in a routine. Expect pods after every game now. We're in the stretch run, so in addition to Royal hosting tonight over on the YouTube channel,
we're in playoff form. Ethan's been making us practice 2-a-days.
I got to start growing the beard now because it takes me quite a damn long time, maybe like 25 years. I'll see if I can grow one faster than Brady. All right, let's get to tonight. Heat, I think, are 9.5-point favorites. Is that right? Did I see that number correctly?
They're currently 6.5.
Oh, wow. I think
down
it's more than that. All right, busr.com/5RSN. I'm expecting the big John Collins game, but let's see. Atlanta, he doesn't seem happy there again. Do we like Atlanta with the points, or we like Miami? Brady.
Yeah, I like Miami. The Clint Capella thing I think is even bigger than the Trae Young thing, because that was the guy who gave them so much trouble on the boards and things like that. And you don't have to worry about John Collins, basically doing that when, Bam's going to be basically guarding him individually. So that kind of, eliminates that. So I do think Miami, wins this one. I think Jimmy Butler kind of takes over early because it's a back-to-back, maybe get some rest second half and he, take the points as well.
Alex Dixon chiming in here that we took more games than the Heat players. We only take off games on the weekends. That's the only ones we take off on occasion.
Yeah.
Because the podcasts don't do quite as well. Then I took one off the other night, but I won't be taking many more. Greg, they covered tonight, 6.5.
Yeah, they've won 2 consecutive by 20. They haven't done that since 2017. So let's make it 3 in a row by 20. Let's do it. That's what they're going to get a 20-point victory.
Does that mean they need to bring Whiteside back? Because he was part of that.
No. Another funny random stat I'm sneaking in. Jimmy Butler has 2,000 points, 687 rebounds, and 650 assists by his 100th career game in Miami. He's only the 3rd player in the last 30 years to do that. The only other guys is LeBron with the Heat and the Lakers and Doncic with the Mavs.
Greg has the game notes addiction, which is okay. I mean, it's all right. It's better than having another kind of addiction. All right, check out our sponsors. I don't think I've read the game notes in 25 years. I really don't. We used to get them at our table.
That's how you know I'm a rookie at this, because I like that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, and I felt bad because Rob Wilson is the one who compiles so much that he is literally the best. Okay, I mean, he is the man at this. and never gets enough credit for it. But Rob would text us like these obscure stats during the middle of the game, and okay, that's nice. Okay, and then you would see like 4 Heat beat guys all tweeting it at the same time because they wanted to make Rob feel good about his stat. But it was never really me. All right. Anyway, we got Greg, we got Brady. Follow these guys: Greg Sylvander, Brady Hawk 305. Obviously, 5 Reasons Sports. I'm up to 25,500 now on 5 Reasons Sports. Let's get us to 30,000. Get us to 12,000 subscribers on YouTube or close. Let people know about it. Okay, and obviously check out Brady's recap at the end of the game. We'll be back post game, post up, Royal and the crew, me, Greg, and if Alex is still awake and not in a lift at that point, he'll be joining us as well tonight. Have a good one.
Back to the shoot around. The Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs and are currently on a 3-game win streak, so they're playing really, really well. Ariel, your thoughts on that game against the Spurs, which was pretty satisfying to watch?
Thought it was a pretty good game throughout until, the Heat started mixing in the zone that you and I had talked about, the game day shoot around. That exact day, we said they should throw in more zone because the Spurs aren't a very good shooting team. And what do you know? They did, and it worked. Loved the way Bam played, and I thought Jimmy was solid. And I was really encouraged to see Tyler Hero get it going in the fourth quarter. I think he needed that, and Heat Nation needed that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a good response to the quote-unquote rumors that were coming out before the game. It wasn't the most fantastic game for the first 3 quarters, but showing up in the fourth was huge. We're going to need him to be one piece of the puzzle at the guard rotation, whether it's Victor Oladipo, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero. Those last 3 that I named have had certain moments and stretches where they've stepped up for this team, and we're going to need that. The Heat are going to need that going into the playoffs if they're going to make some noise. So, you want to see the guard rotation play well. Like you said, everybody played well. Tonight is a huge game against the Atlanta Hawks. And I know they don't have Trae Young. I hope he has a speedy recovery. And it really sucks that he was hurt for this game because it would have been a huge showdown, honestly. Really vying for, non-play-in position here. 6, 4, and 5 is whatever – or 4, 5, and 6 is what everybody's going for right now. How do the Heat take this win from Atlanta?
They just, don't play down to the level of competition. Like you said, the Hawks are going to be without their best player. They've got some other guys that are out, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, a bunch of other guys that are questionable. So if you're the Heat, this is a take care of business game, no trap game BS. You go in there, you take care of business because you're trying to move up in the standings and avoid the play-in. And the Hawks are one of the teams that are ahead of you. They're a game up on the Heat right now in the standings. So this is an important game. The Heat need to get this one and take care of business. Yeah,
absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they split 1-1 so far. So this is going to be one game that could either keep us from losing the tiebreaker or ultimately win us the tiebreaker, which is huge. And we're going to need that in all this playoff positioning. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Heat get another win tonight. And then after this Hawks game, they play against the Bulls. So we'll be back tomorrow morning.
They shot 50% in the second half. What did you like about the way you guys defended in the second half? And what role did the zone play in kind of getting them off their rhythm?
In the first half, you do have to credit the Spurs. They're a unique team. The way they really attack off the dribble, and they can do it multiple times in one possession. It makes it really challenging. You can watch film on it. You can go over and drill it in a walkthrough. It's not the same until you get out there and feel it live. And they had us on our heels in the first half.
That he thought you were not happy about not being able to play on Monday, so that's where the aggression started tonight. One, how tough is it for you to have someone to tell you to sit out? And 2, how much pent-up energy did you have because of that?
Boring as hell. But that's my timetable. Or maybe sit out. I don't think it was pent-up aggression. It was just being happy to be out there, just enjoy out there with my teammates and just getting a win.
And these last 3 games, it seems like almost each game is a statement. Obviously, the last second against the Nets, then putting the hammer down against the Rockets, taking care of business, and then today's second half, the way you said, enough. No close fourth quarters anymore. Is this team starting to get into a little bit of at least a mindset role that this is crunch time and this is go time now?
I wouldn't say that. I feel like, we know that we have a 13-game left. That's all. But we have 13 games left, and we can make a push. So we're trying to make that push, trying to push ourselves up in the seasons.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Christos Saltas.
Hello, Bam. I would like to ask you how Jimmy was back tonight. How different is the dynamic, the mood, and the whole atmosphere on the court with him?
It was good. It was 1-2 punch, I guess you could say. So it was cool to have him out there. It's always good to have one of our leaders, back and healthy again. So it's good to have him out there, hear his voice. Got back to playing.
And from your perspective, an off-topic question: how good was how good day was yesterday?
Yes. Oh, for the verdict?
Yes.
It was a good day for his family, but like I said before, it's crazy that we wake up hoping for accountability. And, it's crazy that we gotta hope that somebody is held responsible for the election. So aside from that, it was a good day for his family. Happy to got justice.
Next, we go to Brady Hawk.
Hey, Bam, how have you noticed improvements from Duncan with his decision making when moving downhill? It seems like he's becoming a much quicker decision maker when throwing the lob past you or laying it in on those 2-on-1s off of the pick and roll. How have you kind of noticed those improvements?
And it's just player development. Duncan comes in and works his ass off every day. He tries to get in here extra shots. Come in early, leave late, and he's always watching film, trying to improve himself. So I'm just here to try to help him improve. But he has been. It's not doing anything but helping the team.
All right, Bam, thank you. All right, everybody, that concludes tonight's availabilities. Next, we'll go to Ira Winderman.
Tyler, was there something that you sensed or saw in the fourth quarter that the opening was there for you, or was it more just a matter of being a rhythm moment for you?
I just made some shots.
And how just sort of how good did it feel in a game like this where you have this big 2-game trip to be able to make that statement with that 30 to 15 fourth quarter that you put together as a team?
It felt good. Just trying to build off it.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Jim Conlon with RCB Ireland.
Hi, Tyler. How important was that victory over a playoff rival in terms of the standings in the Eastern Conference? Obviously, it's a tight bunch for those last playoff places. A huge statement of intent there tonight.
Yeah, it was a big game for us. Like I said, coming into this, we wanted to, try to, win these 2 games here. Obviously, we have another game that we still have to play, but really focused in on this trip. We didn't like how we played on the last road trip. And like I said, we're building for the playoffs, and it's coming down to the end. With, less than 15 games left, so just continue to work at it every day. Try to get better and get familiar with each other. And like I said, just continue to build for our main goal.
Next, we'll go to Anthony Chang.
Hey, Tyler. Spo was just on here talking about your season and just kind of how, he's seen you develop and improve up parts of your games, even through the ups and downs of the season for you.
Don't worry about Spo.
What's been the challenge in trying to, sticking with it, even though maybe the results haven't been there in some of the games like you wanted this season?
Just sticking with it. I have great teammates that can be by my side and help me. But I'm just just continue to stay with it. It's a long season. I'm only in my second year, and I'm playing with a bunch of seasoned vets that are very good and very experienced in the game, and I'm learning so much from them. I love the game. I'll continue to do better every day.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, thanks, Tyler. That's it.